Mr. Rehan was a very rich man. He had many businesses and a big house, but today, after a long meeting, he wanted to relax. So he decided to take a short drive through the city park. The park was quiet and calm. Few people were there. The sun was going down, and the sky was orange. As he drove slowly on the small road inside the park, his eyes suddenly caught something unusual. On a small bench under a tall tree, he saw two little girls sitting very close to each other. They looked scared and very quiet. Their clothes were dirty and torn, and their hair was messy. They looked like they had not eaten or bathed for days. Mr. Rehan stopped his car and looked carefully. The girls did not play or talk. They just sat still, holding each other's hands tightly. They looked like twin sisters. Both had dark brown eyes and black hair tied in small ponytails. The girls were very small, maybe 6 years old. No other person was near them. No adults, no parents. The park was almost empty except for these two little girls. Mr. Rehan's heart started beating fast. He felt something heavy inside him. It was sadness and worry. How could two small children be left alone like this? He stepped out of his car, slowly. He didn't want to scare them. He walked toward the bench with soft steps. The girls saw him coming but did not say anything. They just looked at him with big, scared eyes. When he got closer, he noticed something more. Both girls had the same small birthmark on their left cheek. It looked like a tiny star. Mr. Rehan was surprised. It reminded him of something from his own childhood, but he pushed that thought away. Right now, these girls needed help. He stopped in front of the bench and sat down carefully, keeping a little distance so they would not feel threatened. "Hello," he said softly. "Are you okay? What are you doing here all alone?" The girls did not answer. One of them looked down and started to wipe her eyes. Her small hands were shaking. Mr. Rehan could see tears falling silently down her cheeks. He felt his heart break. "Don't be afraid. I am here to help," he said kindly. Then suddenly one of the girls whispered something. It was so soft, almost like the wind. Mr. Rehan had to lean in to hear her. She said, "We have no home now," he heard the little voice say. He froze for a moment. The words were simple, but the meaning was heavy. Two young girls without a home, alone in a park at sunset. Mr. Rehan looked around to see if anyone was coming for them. But the park was empty. No mother or father, no older brother or sister, no one. He felt angry. How could someone leave two small children like this? And why? The girls looked at him with hope and fear mixed in their eyes. They were waiting for someone to save them. Mr. Rehan stood up. He knew he could not leave them. "Here, come with me," he said gently. "I will take care of you. You are safe now." One girl nodded quietly. The other still looked scared but slowly got up from the bench. Mr. Rehan reached out his hand to help them stand. The girls held his hand tightly, as if holding on to a lifeline. As they walked towards his car, Mr. Rehan kept thinking, who were these girls? Why were they left here all alone? What had happened to their family? He wanted to ask them more, but he did not want to frighten them. For now, he just wanted to keep them safe. He opened the car door and helped the girls inside. They sat quietly, looking out of the window at the darkening park. Mr. Rehan started the car and drove slowly out of the park. He knew this was only the beginning. There was a story behind these two girls, and he was going to find out everything. As he drove, the quiet whisper of the little girl stayed in his mind. "We have no home now." His heart was heavy, but he also felt hope. Maybe, just maybe, he could change their lives forever. After leaving the park, Mr. Rehan drove the twin girls to a small, quiet cafe. He wanted to talk to them gently and understand their story. The girls still held each other's hands tightly. They were scared but trusted him a little. Mr. Rehan ordered 2 hot chocolates and some biscuits for the girls. The warm drinks made the girls feel a little better. Slowly, he started asking questions in a soft voice. "Can you tell me your names?" he asked. The older twin, who seemed braver, looked up and said, "We are Amina and Aliyah." Mr. Rehan smiled, kindly. Amina, Aliyah, you are very brave girls. Can you tell me why you were alone in the park today? The girls looked at each other. Then Amina whispered, Our stepfather. He left us. We don't know where our mother is. Mr. Rayhan's heart tightened. Where did he leave you? Why? Aliyah's eyes filled with tears. He shouted a lot. Then he took our bags and left. He said we are a problem. We should disappear. Mr. Rayhan felt a cold shiver. How could someone treat little children like this? The girl's story was sad, but Mr. Rayhan wanted to hear more. He asked gently, Do you know where your mother went? The girls shook their heads. No, she was scared, said Amina. Mr. Rayhan knew that fear was strong. Sometimes it made people do hard things, but he also knew these girls needed help, big help. He looked around the cafe. The other customers were busy, not noticing the small drama at the corner table. Mr. Rayhan felt a deep responsibility now. He decided to take the girls home with him, at least for a few days, until he could find their mother or someone to care for them. But first he wanted to understand the full story. Who was this stepfather? Why did he leave the girls like this? What had happened to their family? Amina looked up at Mr. Rayhan and whispered, He said, He doesn't want us because you're not his. The words hit Mr. Rayhan hard. He remembered his own childhood and the feeling of being unwanted. But these girls were innocent. They did nothing wrong. He promised himself that he would protect them no matter what. Just then, Aliyah looked out the window and saw a man walking outside. Her eyes widened in fear. That's him, she cried, softly. Our stepfather is looking for us. Mr. Rayhan's mind raced. He had to act fast. He stood up and said, Don't worry. You are safe with me now. I will not let anything happen to you. The girls nodded, trying to be brave. Mr. Rayhan took out his phone and called a trusted friend who worked in child protection services. He explained the situation quickly. We need to find their mother, he said, and protect these girls. The friend promised to help. After the call, Mr. Rayhan sat down with Amina and Aliyah again. He asked, Is there anything else you want to tell me? Anything that can help us find your mother or keep you safe? Amina looked down and whispered, Our mother told us to always stay together. She said we are strong if we are together. Mr. Rayhan smiled softly. That is very true. You two are very strong girls. He looked at their small faces and saw hope shining in their eyes. For the first time in a long time, they felt safe, but the danger was still near. The stepfather was out there, and the city was big. It was not easy to hide two little girls. Mr. Rayhan knew he had to be smart. He planned to use all his power and money to protect them. As they finished their drinks, Mr. Rayhan promised, I will find your mother and keep you safe. No one will hurt you again. The girls smiled weakly, but their eyes showed they believed.
Mr. Rayhan looked at them and thought, This is just the beginning.
There is more to this story. I must find the truth. The cafe was quiet again. Outside, the sun was almost gone, and the city lights started to shine. Inside, a millionaire and two little girls started a new journey, a journey full of hope, fear, and love. Next morning, Mr. Rayhan woke up early. The girls were still sleeping in his big, warm house. He watched them quietly. Their small faces looked peaceful, but he knew their story was far from over. He decided to start searching for their mother right away. First, he called the police. He told them about the girls and what they had said about their stepfather and missing mother. The police promised to help but said they needed more information. Mr. Rayhan asked the girls again, hoping they might remember something new. Amina, Aliyah, do you remember anything about your mother? Where she worked? Who she knew? He asked softly. Amina thought hard and said, Mama worked at a big hospital. She helped sick people. Aliyah nodded. Yes, Mama always wore a white coat and was very kind. Mr. Rayhan smiled. That helps a lot. He called several hospitals in the city, asking if any nurse or doctor had the same names or looked like the girls. But no one matched. He felt a small hope fade. Then he remembered something else the girls said the night before. They said we should stay together. Mama told us that, Amina said. Mr. Rehan thought deeply. Maybe their mother left a message somewhere, or someone who could help. He asked, "Do you have any pictures? Anything with your mother?" Aliyah reached into her small bag and pulled out a folded paper. It was a drawing. A picture of a house, two girls holding hands, and a woman smiling above them. There was also a name written in a child's handwriting. Sarah. Mr. Rehan's heart beat faster. Sarah must be their mother's name. He showed the drawing to a friend who knew many people in the city. His friend promised to check everywhere for anyone named Sarah who might be missing her children. Meanwhile, Mr. Rehan kept the girls safe at home. He made their favorite food and bought new clothes for them, but the girls seemed quiet and worried. One afternoon, Aliyah whispered, "I miss Mama. I want to see her." Mr. Rehan held her close. "I know, Aliyah, we will find her, I promise." Days passed, but no news came. One evening, the girls were playing in the garden when suddenly they saw a dark car stop near the gate. Two men stepped out. The girls froze. Their eyes filled with fear. Mr. Rehan saw them and quickly went outside. "Who are you?" he asked, voice firm. The men said they were from Child Services, here to take the girls for their safety. Mr. Rehan was confused but let them explain. But while they talked, the girls whispered to each other, scared. Suddenly, Mr. Rehan noticed one of the men looking at the girls strangely, with a cold smile. His instincts warned him. "Wait," Mr. Rehan said. "I want to see your ID and talk to your supervisor." The men hesitated and left quickly, disappearing in their car. Mr. Rehan knew something was wrong. These men were not helping. They were a threat. He held the girls close, whispering, "You are safe with me. I will protect you from everyone." That night, Mr. Rehan made a decision. He would not trust anyone until he found their mother. He would protect Amina and Aliyah no matter what. The danger was growing. But so was his determination, and the story was far from over. The days passed slowly in Mr. Rehan's house. Amina and Aliyah stayed close, their small hands always holding each other. They smiled sometimes, but sadness lived deep in their eyes. Mr. Rehan could see it clearly. One quiet evening after dinner, Mr. Rehan sat with the girls in the living room. The sun was setting, painting orange colors through the window. The house was calm, but the air was heavy with questions no one could answer. "Girls," Mr. Rehan said softly, "I want to help you, but I need you to tell me everything. No secrets." Amina looked down, her voice barely a whisper. "There is one thing Mama told us is something important." Aliyah nodded quickly. She said, "If we are ever lost, and if the bad people come, we must stay strong and tell the truth." Mr. Rehan leaned forward. "Yes, that's very important. Can you tell me what truth?" Amina's small voice trembled as she spoke. "Mama said the bad man, the stepfather, he did terrible things. He wanted to keep us away from her. He was angry and cruel," Aliyah added. "He told us not to tell anyone, but Mama said if we ever can, we should find someone kind and tell everything." Mr. Rehan's heart sank. The story was darker than he imagined, but he stayed calm. "You did the right thing by telling me. I promise I will keep you safe." Suddenly, Amina looked at Mr. Rehan with wide eyes. "There is one more thing." She whispered so softly, Mr. Rehan had to lean closer to hear. "Before Mama left, she gave me this." She pulled a small silver locket from under her shirt and opened it carefully. Inside was a tiny photo of a woman, their mother. Her eyes were kind but worried. Mr. Rehan took the locket in his hand and smiled gently. "This is very precious. It means your mother loves you very much." Aliyah reached out and held Mr. Rehan's hand tightly. "We want to find Mama. We want to be with her." Mr. Rehan nodded. "We will find her, I promise." The room felt heavy but filled with hope. That night, as the girls slept peacefully, Mr. Rehan could not stop thinking about the locket and the mother who must be out there somewhere. The next day, Mr. Rehan took the locket to a private investigator he trusted. The man looked at the photo closely and promised to use every resource to find the woman named Sarah. Days turned into weeks, but still no news. Meanwhile, Amina and Aliyah grew closer to Mr. Rayhan. They called him Uncle Rayhan, and slowly their smiles returned. But one afternoon, as Mr. Rayhan watched the girls play, Amina suddenly stopped and looked toward the window. Her face went pale. "Uncle Rayhan, did you hear that?" she whispered. "Hear what?" he asked, worried. Amina shook her head. "It's a whisper. I don't know where it's coming from." Mr. Rayhan listened carefully, but heard nothing. Suddenly, a soft voice came from the girl's bedroom. "Help me!" It was faint, like a secret calling from far away. Mr. Rayhan stood still. His heart raced. Was it the wind, or a sign from their mother? He walked slowly toward the door, careful not to scare the girls. "Girls, do you hear that?" he asked. Aliyah nodded. "Mama, she is calling us." Mr. Rayhan felt tears in his eyes. Something inside told him the search was almost over, but danger was still near, and the whisper had only just begun. Days passed, but the whisper from the girls' room stayed in Mr. Rayhan's mind. Every night, just before sleep, the soft voice came again, calling for help. It was like a secret message only Amina and Aliyah could hear. Mr. Rayhan decided he must understand what it meant. One afternoon, he sat with the twins and asked gently, "Girls, do you know what the voice is saying? Can you tell me?" Amina looked at her sister, then nodded slowly. "It says, 'Find me, save me.'" Aliyah's eyes were wide. "Mama is trapped somewhere. She wants us to find her." Mr. Rayhan's heart tightened. This was more than he expected. He knew the stepfather was cruel, but now it was clear. Their mother was in danger. He promised the girls, "I will do everything to find your mother and bring her home." That night, Mr. Rayhan called the private investigator again. He asked him to look deeper, to search places the stepfather might hide someone. The investigator worked hard. After days of searching, he found a small, old house at the edge of the city, a place no one had visited for months. Mr. Rayhan knew this was where Sarah might be. He drove there with the twins, their small hands clutching his tightly. The house looked dark and empty. The windows were covered with thick curtains. The door was locked tight. Mr. Rayhan knocked loudly. No answer. He tried to open the door, but it was locked from the inside. Suddenly, from behind the house, he heard a soft sound. It was a faint cry. Mr. Rayhan rushed around and found a small, hidden door leading to a basement. The smell was bad, and the air was cold. With the twins close, Mr. Rayhan opened the door slowly. Inside, he saw a small room with a bed, a chair, and a woman lying weakly on the floor. It was Sarah. Her face was pale, and eyes weak, but the moment she saw her daughters, she tried to smile. "Girls," she whispered. Amina and Aliyah ran to her side, tears falling freely. Mr. Rayhan helped Sarah up and wrapped her in a warm blanket. She looked at Mr. Rayhan with gratitude. "Thank you for saving us." Sarah told her story in broken words. The stepfather had locked her here when she tried to escape. He wanted to keep the girls away, but Sarah never gave up hope. The whisper the girls heard. It was Sarah's voice reaching out through the walls, trying to find help. Mr. Rayhan promised her, "You and your daughters are safe now. I will protect you." As they left the house together, the sun was rising. For the first time in a long while, hope filled their hearts. But Mr. Rayhan knew the stepfather would not give up easily. The real battle to protect Sarah and her daughters was just beginning. Mr. Rayhan brought Sarah and the girls back to his home. He called a doctor who treated her wounds. Sarah was still weak, but she smiled as she watched her daughters eat and laugh again. The house was warm, safe. For a short time, everything felt peaceful. But peace never lasts forever. One night, as rain fell hard outside, Mr. Rayhan received a call. It was the investigator. "Sir," he said, his voice tense, "the stepfather is back in the city. He's asking questions. I think he knows the girls are with you." Mr. Rayhan's jaw tightened. "Keep eyes on him. Let me know if he gets too close." He didn't tell Sarah or the twins. He didn't want them to worry. But that same night, a strange black car stopped outside the gate. The driver didn't come out. He just sat there, watching the house. The next day, someone left a note under the door. It read, "They are mine. Give them back before it's too late." Mr. Rehan called the police, but the stepfather had powerful friends. He used fake names, changed his appearance. There was no clear proof of what he had done. The law was moving slow. Too slow. Mr. Rehan knew he had to protect them himself. He doubled the security around the house. Cameras, guards, everything. But even then, the twins were scared. They didn't play like before. At night, they held each other and cried. Sarah tried to stay strong, but Mr. Rehan saw the fear in her eyes. "He won't stop," she whispered. One night, "He thinks we belong to him." Mr. Rehan looked at her firmly. "Not anymore. You're safe now. I won't let him touch you." But then, the stepfather made his move. One afternoon, the girls were playing in the garden while Mr. Rehan spoke with a lawyer inside. Suddenly, a scream rang out. Mr. Rehan ran outside and saw a masked man trying to pull Amina toward the gate. Aliyah was holding her sister's hand, crying, "Leave her, leave her." Mr. Rehan didn't think twice. He rushed forward, tackled the man, and pinned him to the ground. The guards ran out and held him down. They pulled off his mask. It was the stepfather. His face was twisted with rage. "They are mine," he shouted. "You can't take them from me." The police arrived within minutes. Mr. Rehan had already recorded everything on the cameras. This time, the evidence was clear. The stepfather was arrested. He was charged with kidnapping, abuse, and attempted assault. As the police took him away, the girls hid behind Mr. Rehan, trembling but safe. Sarah hugged them tightly. Her eyes were full of tears, but also strength. "It's over," Mr. Rehan said softly, holding them close. "He can't hurt you again." That night, as they all sat together around the table, something changed. There was no fear, no whispering, just laughter, just peace. But deep inside, Mr. Rehan felt something more, something he hadn't expected. He wasn't just protecting them anymore. He loved them, and he knew this was only the beginning of a new family. Weeks passed since the stepfather was arrested. Peace slowly returned to the house. The twins, Amina and Aliyah, began smiling again. They played in the garden, painted pictures, and giggled like little girls should. Sarah, their mother, looked healthier. Her eyes no longer carried fear. Every morning, she stood beside Mr. Rehan and thanked him quietly, often with tears in her eyes. One evening after dinner, they all sat together watching the sunset. The orange light filled the sky, and the girls sat beside Mr. Rehan, each holding one of his hands. Suddenly, Amina looked up at him and whispered, "Can we stay with you forever?" Mr. Rehan froze. Her voice was small, honest, full of hope and fear. Aliyah, too, leaned her head on his shoulder and whispered, "You're the only one who made us feel safe." Sarah looked at her daughters and then at Mr. Rehan. Her eyes were moist, her lips trembling. "You gave us a second life," she said softly. "We were nothing. No one would even look at us. But you saw us." Mr. Rehan didn't speak. Right away, he stared at the little girls, their tiny fingers wrapped around his hands. They weren't just strangers anymore. They were family. He cleared his throat and smiled gently. "You're not going anywhere. This is your home now." The girls jumped and hugged him. Sarah wiped her tears and smiled brighter than ever before. But that wasn't the end. A few days later, Mr. Rehan arranged a press conference. News cameras rolled as he stood before a crowd. He spoke firmly. 2 innocent girls were abandoned, beaten, and left in pain. But the real tragedy is that no one saw them. No one cared. We must change that. Starting today, I'm launching a foundation in their name, the Amina and Aliyah Hope Center, to protect children from abuse and neglect. The room filled with applause. The girls sat in the front row wearing bright dresses, beaming with pride. Sarah held her daughter's hands, her heart full. From that day on, the Amina and Aliyah Foundation opened shelters for abused children. Volunteers poured in. Donations flooded. Mr. Rehan used his wealth to make sure no child had to live in fear again. People across the country heard the story, and they cried. They felt inspired, but more importantly, they acted, they helped, and it's changed. One evening, as Mr. Rehan tucked the girls into bed, Amina whispered again. This time she said, "Papa." Mr. Rehan looked at her. "Yes? Can I call you that?" He paused, then nodded, unable to stop the tear that rolled down his cheek. From a quiet whisper to a loud impact, the journey was complete. The broken were now healed, and love had found its way home.